Whether you know it yet or not, you want a Vespa. I know you do. And I'm going to break down 12 reasons why. Let's count them down. All right, let's start with what I think is the most obvious reason to want a Vespa, and that's the Vespa aesthetic. Vespas are beautiful. They're not beautiful for a scooter. They're not beautiful compared to a motorcycle. They are just beautiful in and of themselves. They have fantastic paint jobs, sleek design, great chrome. They just have this classic look about them that is just beautiful to behold. So when you have a Vespa, you have the opportunity every day to see and enjoy something beautiful. That is a fantastic reason to want a Vespa. A Vespa isn't just an expensive toy. It's actually highly practical. You need to go get milk? Take your Vespa. You're meeting a friend for coffee? Go ahead and take your Vespa. You need to park downtown? Definitely take your Vespa. And as we know, the more practical a vehicle is, the more you're going to be able to use it and build it into just your normal everyday life. Taking a Vespa somewhere kind of makes the ordinary just so much more fun. So that's another great reason to want a Vespa.
All right, so the next reason you want a Vespa is because Vespas have a long history of quality and style. The Vespa began post-World War II in Italy because that nation was really just trying to get back on its feet. And ever since, it's just been this icon of quality and style for Italy, but then it has spread throughout the world. Highly recommend you look up the story about how Vespa got started and how the design came to be. It's a cool story, and it's actually another great reason to want a Vespa.
So let's talk gas mileage. It is really hard to beat the gas mileage of a Vespa. Boy, when it comes to gas-powered vehicles, these things just sip fuel. And right now, in particular, the gas prices are crazy high. Putting about 1.5 gallons or slightly under 2 gallons in there still costs me typically well under $10. And I get well over 100 miles on one tank of gas. You just can't beat that. So that's actually a great reason to want a Vespa. When you think about it, you make the investment in a Vespa, you do make a little bit of your money back just in spending less on gas and putting fewer miles on your bigger car. Gas mileage is a very practical reason that you want a Vespa, but it's a good one. It's a very good one.
All right, next let's talk about the fact that riding a Vespa is just pure fun. You get to enjoy the world and the road in a way that is just so different than being inside a car. It makes just the most everyday errands much more of an event and an experience. It seems to me if you can take what's mundane and you can do something different to make it exciting and extraordinary, I just don't know why you wouldn't do that. And yes, that is another great reason to want a Vespa.
All right, next. Are you still not totally sure you're going to take to the Vespa life? I think you can go ahead and buy one anyway because Vespas keep their resale value better than just about any other vehicle. Power Sports Business had an article that talked about how over 72% of a Vespa's value is retained after 3 years, outperforming most cars and motorcycles. So they have this sort of brand and design and the lack of kind of direct competition. So 2-year-old models often retain up to 80% of their value. It's just really hard to beat that. So if you do decide, maybe this isn't for me and you want to sell, you actually are likely to get quite a bit of your money back. And that's another pretty good reason to want a Vespa. However, I suspect you're going to hang on to it.
Next, let's talk about just how well built the Vespa is. These are not disposable machines. They feel solid. The details matter, the finish matters, the engineering matters. There's a reason why you see vintage Vespas still out on the road. These things are built to last. That is another really good reason to want a Vespa. All right, next let's talk about how Vespas have a very low center of gravity. Now, why is this important? Why does it matter? Well, low center of gravity actually makes Vespas quite maneuverable. They feel solid and stable. Most of the weight is underneath you. It's not in front of you and it's not up high, which actually can make it very difficult to stay balanced. That low center of gravity is a real benefit to riding a Vespa and another great reason to want one. So here's another one that actually kind of surprised me. Having a Vespa has actually connected me with people. It connects you with people in ways that you would be surprised about. People smile and wave. They'll come up and talk to you in parking lots, asking you questions about it. I've been able to have conversations with different people and meet people I would have never been able to meet otherwise. So that kind of connection is super rare these days. So that's another reason to want a Vespa. So next I want to talk about this step-through design. Whereas riding a motorcycle is kind of like mounting a horse, riding a Vespa is more like sitting in a chair. Very easy to get in and out of a chair, just like it's very easy to get off and on of a Vespa. This isn't a small thing. The easier something is to ride, the more likely you're going to ride it a lot. So the step-through design is definitely another reason that you want a Vespa. And let's not forget the general ease of learning. It's really not that difficult to learn how to ride a Vespa. Just twist and go. You don't have a clutch. You don't have to shift gears. There's nothing like that you have to be concerned about. If you have any experience with balance riding a bike, you most likely will pick up on being able to ride a Vespa really pretty easily. Of course, you always want to practice and get better at your skills, but ease of learning is another great reason to want a Vespa.
So when it comes down to it, all these things together really lead to what I would say is the number one reason you want a Vespa. And that is because it just brings a level of joy to your life. Whether it's because it's beautiful, or because it connects you with people, or because you get great gas mileage, or because you just have so much fun riding it, or any of the other reasons that I mentioned. All these things together really boil down to just having something in your life that brings you joy. There's very little downside to that as far as I'm concerned.
There you go. There's 12 reasons you want a Vespa. Which one resonated the most with you? If you already have one, did I miss anything? Make sure you comment below. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you again next time.